Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. In today's video I'm going to be doing a short update on my training. So for those that don't follow me on social media, maybe you caught the last video that I did, which was my update on what I was going to be doing for training for the Cambridge Half. I had 8 weeks left at the time, which is probably about 6 weeks now. And I said in that video that I ideally would have liked 12 weeks to train for a half marathon. However, it was about 8 weeks left and I had a training plan that I was going to be doing to stick to in order to get ready for the Cambridge Half. Not long after that video, I had been discussing with a couple of people that I follow and that follow me on social media about the Cambridge Half. I hadn't really been doing much running in that sort of period of time since I filmed that last video. I think I've maybe been out for 2 runs. So obviously the struggle is still there with running. Ultimately, Philip and I made the decision to pull out of Cambridge Half Marathon. We have transferred those places now, so it is definitely that we are not doing it. At the time, I was really quite upset with myself over not getting myself out for runs. But now thinking about it, I do feel like it is the right decision for me. I do think if I'd have started properly training all those weeks ago when I put out the video about the training plan and my intentions for training for the half, I would have been half marathon ready. I say half marathon ready with a bit of a thing to it, because the half marathon would have never been easy, even if I had put in the training, just because I know that I am a slower runner at the moment. It's not, the last time that I did a half marathon, I was aiming for sort of sub 2 hours, and I've been lucky in Cambridge Half to get 3 hours. So I was always sort of in the back of my head about that. And yeah, I feel like it was going to be, we were in for a difficult battle with the Cambridge Half, even if we trained properly for it. The fact that we had done no training or very little training between the last video that I did and sort of this week solidified the decision to pull out of Cambridge Half. It does suck in a sense, because since I have been running, 13, 14 years ago, I have never pulled out of a race. We have always managed to pull it together, motivation wise, whatever discipline wise, to sort of get our asses out the door and get our training done for half marathons, whatever it is that we had training for. The sort of intention with booking the Cambridge Half was to sort of try and get me out of this rut that I was in post London Marathon. I know that there are a lot of people that go through this sort of like post marathon blues stage. I just don't know whether there are a lot of people that are going through this phase now, still 3-4 months on since the marathon. Philip and I are both in the same situation. I don't know whether it's because we are sort of feeding off each other with it. Particularly me feeding off him not doing anything is more the case. Like, he has not been sort of in it for a long while, even during the London Marathon training phase. He wasn't quite there, and obviously had a lot of injuries and things like that, which pushed him back. I do feel like I was quite motivated to get out for my training runs during London. Towards the end of the London Marathon training, when it started getting really tough, I do feel like I was struggling, and I had a bit of a change in schedule with my work and things like that. A lot of things have changed schedule wise since sort of like, I want to say like a year ago. Obviously, during COVID, I had all the time in the world to go out for a run because I was working from home all the time. And then I started phasing myself back into work. So I was going into work 2 days a week. So I was still able to have 3 days a week that I would be able to fit in my runs because I was still at home. That has now obviously changed again to 3 days a week. So I have even little time during the week to fit in my runs. On the Saturday and Sunday, it's not too much of an issue, although I guess that is an issue because I'm still not managing to find the motivation to go out for those runs at the weekend. But it's even more difficult during the week. I have to get up quite early in the morning. I have an hour and a half commute just one way, so 3 hours in total, plus working. So if I was realistically to go out for a run in the morning, I would need to get up at about 4 o'clock in the morning. That's to allow myself to do a run. Obviously, I've got to bear in mind that I'm slower at the moment, so the time that it takes me to do even a 5k run is longer than most people. So I have to sort of bear that in mind for the time that I get up. Then I've got to shower and get prepared and get everything done in the house that I need to get done before I sort of leave the house for work. Then I've got to go to work, then I've got to commute back. There was a couple of times over the last 2 weeks that I've tried sort of changing around my working hours a bit to go into work earlier and finish earlier to try and get out in the evening before it got like really dark. And that is not helping either. I feel like my runs need to be done in the morning, otherwise there is very, very little chance. And I've been saying this for a long time on my channel, that there is very little chance that if I leave my run until the evening that it's going to get done. Even more so because I am commuting by bike now. That has been another change to the schedule. Prior to when I was doing the London Marathon and things like that, I could have a bit of flexibility with the sort of time that I started work because I was going by car, so there wasn't like a fixed time that I needed to get the train or anything like that. I could basically leave whenever I wanted as long as I did my hours at work, so I could go into work a bit later to get my run done earlier when it was still light out and things like that. Obviously the training that I did for London as well was when it was still light out, so I didn't have any issues with the dark. So I had changed some of my days last week and the week before, where I went into work earlier and came home earlier, and the intention was to go out for a run when I got back from work. I'm telling you now, when you have done a bike commute on a little Brompton and you've been cycling uphill for the last 20 minutes, the last thing that I want to do when I get home is go for a run. I'm absolutely dead by the time I get back. I don't know whether that's because my fitness levels are not what they used to be. And I guess I got slightly off track there as well. I was saying that for the London Marathon training and things like that, I was commuting by car. So now I've changed it and I'm now back to commuting by a train, which is what I did before COVID. But it does mean that a lot of my time is being taken up by commutes and working and whatever else. So I have very little time. If I was going to run and if I want to choose it to be in the morning, I need to get up at 4 o'clock. That's very early. I'm going to have to go to bed late. I'm going to have to go to bed earlier in the evening, and I've really been struggling to get to sleep. So I'm physically in bed by about 9 o'clock at night, and I physically can't sleep until about 12. I don't know what's going on with that. I need to find some sort of products that will send me to sleep. Not sleeping tablets, but there must be something out there that helps you sleep. So yeah, I'm just not feeling it in the evening. By the time I get back from my bike commute, I'm knackered. And then if I have a little bit of a rest, it's then dinner time. So I have to cook, which can take anything from half an hour to an hour to cook a meal, and then you've got to let food settle, and then by the time you're sort of getting ready to run, it's like 8, 9 o'clock in the evening, and that sucks. Yeah, I just don't like it. I don't know how anyone else deals with it or juggles it, but yeah, I'm just really sort of struggling to find balance between everything. Philip is struggling the same. He gets up really early in the morning and goes to work. His hours are even more sporadic than mine. He can go to work at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. He's supposed to finish at 3 and he doesn't come home until 5, 6 o'clock. So his hours are completely all over the place. Plus he works every other Sunday, so it's even harder for him to sort of fit in those runs at the weekend as well. I mean, I've got no excuse on a Saturday and Sunday because I can go out either day, but yeah. I feel like I sort of made it an excuse with not getting out for a run because he's not going, but it is really difficult. If you've never been in that situation where you've got another person in the house that is not motivated, it is so hard to, when you've got a treadmill sat, for example, when you've got a treadmill sat in the other side of the room and you've got someone that is playing PlayStation and that is something that you want to be doing, but you also know that you've got to run, it's really, really hard to get up and go into the other room and get dressed in your running kit and go on the treadmill or go outside when you've got someone that is not living the same lifestyle, I guess. And that's the same with food as well. Philip can go really off track with food, and sometimes he can sway me to have things that I wouldn't necessarily have, or yeah. So it is just really difficult to sort of figure things out. We are going to have a sit down today and sort of figure out what we're going to do running wise, because we do need to come up with some sort of schedule, some sort of plan going forward to get us prepared for Burley 7 in 7 weeks or whatever it is. I'm aiming for 2 to 3 runs a week. 3 would obviously be ideal, but obviously because I'm hardly even running 1 day a week, 2 is, yeah, it would be a positive to get out for 2 runs a week. I am gonna start doing park run again. Philip is a bit more reluctant to do park run, but this is sort of my opportunity to say, well, if he's not going to park run, then I'll go by myself, sort of thing, and to sort of use that independence, I guess. I don't want to have it be a second race that we have to bow out of. I don't even know whether we can transfer these places or not, probably not. But yeah, I'm just gonna have to figure it out. If anyone has any advice whatsoever for this, then let me know, because like I said, I've literally just been stuck in this horrible rut since London. And I know that there's been a lot of things that have changed within my schedule and whatever else, but it just really truly sucks. I don't really know what else to say. I'm just sort of blabbering on. This was meant to be short and we're now 13 minutes in, so yeah, I guess the long story short is I don't really know what's going on. I'm just hoping that I sort of find whatever it is that we need to find in order to get out for these runs over the next 7 weeks. I'll update you next week on how things are going. Even if things aren't going, I guess I will update you on what's happening, but hopefully I'll have better things to sort of talk about next week. So I'm going to end the video here before it does get super long. So if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, show me some support. Other than that, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment down below. You can always click the notification bell down below as well, and you'll be notified of when my videos go live. But other than that, hope you're all staying safe and well. Hope you all enjoy the rest of your week, weekend, whatever it is that you're watching this. And I will see you again in the next video. Bye.